I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else.
When people ask me what's my favorite video game, I, without hesitation, will say, What Remains of Edith Finch? And if they ask me what I like about this game, well, they better have some time on their hands because there are so many elements to this game that I enjoy. I find it hard to sum it up without revealing too many of the major plot points or providing too much insight into the ways that these developers chose to tell these tales within a tale within a tale. But I'm going to try to do this as spoiler-free as possible. Now, this is not a game that everyone will enjoy. It's slow-paced and interaction is limited, but I do believe this is the type of game that will resonate with most people, either in parts or in whole, even those who do not typically enjoy video games. It was released in April 2017 by Giant Sparrow, who really hit the mark in terms of elevating a walking sim, which sadly to this day still has a derogatory connotation, to a manner in which even those who normally don't enjoy the genre can find something they appreciate about this game. You play as Edith Finch, a teen who has returned to her childhood home in Washington State after the passing of her mother to determine the reasons of why she is the last remaining member of the Finch family left alive. The deaths are attributed to a perceived family curse that has haunted the Finch family for generations, and Edith has come to uncover the family history that was shielded from her when she was a child. You start out on a boat and open the pages of Edith's diary, and as she begins to recount her story, you are transported to her in a first-person perspective as she walks toward her home and reflects upon her feelings as a child there and what the experience of returning is like for her. Something I think many of us has grappled with as we've moved away to a new home or new part of the world and later returned to the place where we grew up. It feels so familiar yet so different simultaneously. And Edith takes her time, walking at a contemplative pace as there is no option to run. This style allows you time to listen to her musings as well as process your thoughts and feelings about your own experiences within the game. The text floats onto the screen, almost like being underwater, and drifts in and out in a way that serves as a guide for both the story's direction as well as Edith. Despite this being a walking sim with a pretty linear path, there are decisions to make at times in the direction that you choose to take, as well as how much you choose to investigate within each story. The stories. Each one is uniquely told through writings left either by the family member personally or by someone close to them after they passed away. Each one, also played from a first-person perspective, has its own unique gameplay mechanics, and it usually doesn't take long to figure out exactly how to proceed. I did enjoy that aspect, as you never quite knew what to expect, and it led to an immersive experience. I found myself becoming so invested in what was happening and listening to what the author had to say that I would sometimes forget that I was playing each family member's final day. The game is good in that way, that in a short time frame you become invested in the experience of the character, and I found myself quite tearful at the end of some. After the completion of a story, Edith fills in the member on the family tree she is completing, which is very confusing to understand at first. It's hard to tell initially how everyone fits in, but the more entries she includes, the more the generational position of each family starts to take shape. If you take the time to look around each room, you will be treated with additional evidence of the life each person lived and their connection to those around them. I'd often take some time checking out each room before and sometimes even after before moving on to the next area. The game can be completed in about 2 hours, but I highly encourage you to take some time poking around or even do a second playthrough to make some different decisions than you did the first time you experienced the game. Because for some of these decisions, once you make them, you can't go back and try the other way. Now, this doesn't necessarily influence the game, but it will determine how much you learn about Edith and her family along the way. As far as the environment goes, it is intriguing yet has an unsettling vibe that at first glance almost gives you the feel that you've stepped into something a bit more on the horror game side. It's dark and it's dreary, and there is a palpable air of sadness and loss. The home is misshapen, and you wonder how it has managed to stand as tall as it has for as long as it has. The grounds in the home equally reflect the fullness of generations of family members who have lived under that very same roof, as well as the emptiness of them no longer being there. The items left around the home and the rooms, the titles of the books, and the layout of this massive home all provide clues and insights into who these people are that go even deeper than Edith's telling of their stories. The music is overall melancholic, but each story has its own musical feel, which further reflects the mood of the moment, some songs actually feeling uplifting in such a somber time. If you are at all interested in What Remains of Edith Finch, I highly encourage you to give this game a try. I admit that I am biased because I do connect with this game so deeply, but this is also a game that has had staying power within the indie game community for years because it speaks to so many of us. The themes of family, love, loss, death, and grappling with the unknown as we struggle to reconcile what we knew as a child and what we know as we grow older are themes that are so real and so human and so powerful, so much a part of our life experience. The slow pace may not be for everyone, and again, the game does limit you on what can be interacted with, but for those who are willing to take a chance on it, I hope you enjoy this even half as much as I did. And be sure to leave a like and comment on this video just to let me know if this is a style of something that you guys would like to see more of. And I'll see you all on the next adventure.